ranking member for an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, it's always good to see a former colleague, and welcome back to the committee you served on.
Thank you.
It was good to talk to you earlier this week, and I understand you tried to get in touch with every member of the committee, Democrat and Republican, and that's obviously a good way to start, and we look forward to working with you with that spirit. As Secretary, you're charged with carrying out the mission of the Department of Labor, which is to, and I quote, foster, promote, and develop the welfare of wage earners, job seekers, and retirees of the United States, improve working conditions, advance opportunities for profitable employment, and ensure work-related benefits and rights. Today, you're appearing before this committee to explain the budget and policy priorities as detailed in the Department's fiscal year 2026 budget proposal. As Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi frequently states, show me your budget and I'll tell you your values. And that's why these meetings on the budgets are so important. Madam Secretary, your written testimony states that you promised to put American workers first, and that you indicated many areas where there may be bipartisan support. For example, the expansion of the Department of Labor certified registered apprenticeships is one area where I think we have a good bipartisan support. The reauthorization of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act, WIOA, is another. We already have a bipartisan, bicameral agreement on reauthorization, which came close to passing last December. I hope we can get that bill back on track. And although not technically within your jurisdiction, Workforce Pell is another area where there's bipartisan support. The Workforce Pell grants can serve to open opportunities for millions of workers who seek to gain skills that could transform their earning capacity. Unfortunately, instead of pursuing the initiatives that have bipartisan support, the administration has taken many actions that I think take us in the opposite direction, jeopardizing jobs, endangering the rights and protections of workers, and undermining financial security of retirees. Specifically, this administration has rescinded the landmark executive order in effect for 50 years, protecting federal contract workers and job applicants from discrimination. They rescinded an executive order that raised the minimum wage for federal contractors, illegally fired inspectors general at the Department of Labor and several other agencies who are charged with rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, delayed enforcement of a rule protecting coal miners from silica exposure, and terminated grants that combat child labor and promote workers' rights. Another action, the administration fired a member of the National Labor Relations Board, leaving the NLRB without a quorum to function and issue decisions, and fired 2 EEOC commissioners who were in the middle of their terms, and this has never happened in the agency's 60-year history, leaving the EEOC without a quorum to address legal claims of workplace discrimination, stripped collective bargaining rights for more than 1 million federal workers. In addition to these concerns, Madam Secretary, we're concerned about what Elon Musk and Doge have been doing in the department. Many weeks ago, we asked you if Musk had access to confidential files on investigations of his businesses, including the names of potential witnesses, and who had and whether or not he had access to Bureau of Labor Statistics information, like job numbers, before they were made public, and now whether or not he has continuing access to that information, and we haven't received an answer yet. We're also concerned about what's going on at the Mine Safety and Health Administration. One of the Labor Department's first moves in this administration was to revoke the provisional job offers to dozens of new MSHA inspectors. Madam Secretary, I was on this committee when we investigated the tragedy in Sago and the tragedy at Upper Big Branch. One of the most important lessons we learned from those tragedies was that we must invest in MSHA's pipeline of talent so qualified inspectors will be there to ensure the safety in these dangerous jobs. We know that that process takes years. Madam Secretary, in your testimony in other committees, you've had questions about the abrupt closure of Job Corps. Across the nation, since its inception in 1964, Job Corps has trained over 3 million young Americans in various trades, including welding, carpentry, medical assistance, and a lot of others. Job Corps, which you know has bipartisan support in Congress, trains young, low-income people and helps them find good-paying jobs and provides housing for a population that might otherwise be without a home. And I agree with you, with your letter that you sent to the House Appropriations Committee on May 1st, 2024, in which you argued that, and I quote, "In fact, studies show the Job Corps increases applicants' employment and wages, decreases their reliance on public benefits. In the most recent completed program year, nearly 80% of Job Corps graduates received a high-quality placement by way of employment, enlisting in the military, or enrolling in higher education." Madam Secretary, I know that we have several students from the Potomac Job Corps Center here in attendance. These students are on their way to getting a good job and earning a living wage, and I'll ask them to stand up for a moment, all of the Job Corps participants. Thank you, and on behalf of them, Madam Secretary, I urge you to immediately reverse the decision to effectively shut down all Job Corps centers. I understand that a federal court has already intervened, and this matter will be in litigation probably for some time. So thank you. Madam Secretary, the budget of the Department of Labor proposes cutting $4.5 billion in discretionary funding, a 33% reduction in funding relative to fiscal year 2025 enacted level. And I understand that during your budget hearing before the Appropriations Subcommittee, you said that, quote, "more money does not lead to best outcomes." So I'm looking forward to hearing from you today to explain how less money can lead to better outcomes. For example, how does this budget strengthen the department's enforcement of laws to guard against wage theft and exploitative child labor? How does this affect OSHA? Because OSHA has so few inspectors that right now it will take 185 years for the agency to visit every workplace within its jurisdiction just once. So how will workers be safer with the proposed budget cuts? And finally, Madam Secretary, my Democratic colleagues and I have sent several oversight letters in the past several months. Our office received one response just yesterday that didn't really respond to all of the questions. The American people deserve answers to many questions we've asked you about DOGE and Trump's administration's actions that impact workers, and we expect those responses to be prompt and complete. So I look forward to your answers today and trust that we'll receive complete and thorough answers to our questions, and particularly the questions we've asked in writing. So, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.